I walked into the old, run-down Blackwood Penitentiary, feeling a shiver down my spine. This place, hidden deep in the woods, had a bad reputation. I was part of a team of ghost hunters who wanted to spend a night here to uncover its secrets. As the sun set, the prison became even creepier. The walls were falling apart, and vines covered everything. It was as if the prison itself didn't want us there. We set up our gear and started exploring deeper into the prison. The darkness felt heavy, like it was pressing down on us. I stumbled upon a room filled with old stuff, and there, I found a rusty keyring hanging on a hook. I took the keys and decided to explore the cells. When I opened one, I found an old diary on the floor. It belonged to a guy named Samuel Reed, who had been locked up here. His diary told a sad story about how he was wrongly accused of a crime. He wrote about the bad conditions, mean guards, and the suffering of the prisoners. The last entry talked about a fire that destroyed the prison and took many lives. As I read the diary, the room got colder, and I heard whispers all around. Our equipment started acting up, beeping and flashing. The cell door slammed shut behind me, and I was trapped. Samuel's ghost appeared, and he seemed really angry. He blamed us, the living, for the misery he and others endured. I was terrified as I realized we weren't alone. We struggled to get out, but the prison spirits wouldn't let us go. Samuel was the angriest, and he wanted us to pay for what had happened to him. In the middle of all the chaos, I understood that to calm Samuel's spirit, we needed to acknowledge the injustice he faced. We had to find a way to free the trapped souls and escape this haunted place. The haunted prison was a chilling reminder that some places hold onto their dark past, and if you enter, you might get caught up in the horror that lingers there. Inside the gloomy, forgotten Penumbra Penitentiary, a place where time seemed to have stood still, I ventured alone, my footsteps echoing off the cold, damp walls. The prison, abandoned for decades, was notorious for its brutal history. I was part of a small group of paranormal investigators seeking to unravel the mysteries that clung to this desolate place. As night descended, the prison's dark corridors became even more foreboding. The cells stood empty, the iron bars rusted, and the memories of suffering still lingered in the stale air. It was said that the spirit of a particularly malevolent inmate, known as the Wraith of Solitary, haunted these walls. Setting up my equipment, I decided to explore the depths of the prison alone. The silence was oppressive, and a shiver ran down my spine with every step. Penumbra's history was rife with tales of cruelty, and it was rumored that the Wraith of Solitary was wrongfully accused of a heinous crime. As I ventured deeper into the prison, I reached the dreaded solitary confinement block, a place that had seen unspeakable horrors. I opened the cell door that had held the Wraith and entered the pitch-black, cramped space. It was then that I heard a whisper, a mournful voice in the darkness. I felt a sudden drop in temperature, and the air grew heavy. The apparition of the Wraith materialized, a gaunt figure with hollow eyes that bore into my soul. He reached out, his icy grip closing around my wrist. He spoke of his innocence, of the torment he endured in solitary confinement, and the injustice that had condemned him. The prison's malevolent atmosphere seemed to fuel his anger, and he blamed the living for his misery. Panicked, I tried to flee, but the Wraith's ethereal form moved with me, his presence like a relentless shadow. He was determined to make us pay for the suffering he endured, and I was his unwilling messenger. In the midst of the haunting encounter, I realized that I needed to find a way to acknowledge the Wraith's innocence, to bring peace to his tormented spirit. Only then could I hope to escape the clutches of the sinister prison and its vengeful, ghostly prisoner. The specter of solitary was a harrowing reminder that the echoes of injustice can linger long after death, and those who dared to confront them might find themselves ensnared by the ghosts of the past. Inside the grim, abandoned Iron Gates prison, I cautiously stepped into the dimly lit hallway. The once infamous prison had been vacant for years, a place with a dark history. I was part of a small team of paranormal investigators, eager to uncover the secrets that still lingered within these forbidding walls. As night fell, the prison's oppressive atmosphere grew more menacing. The cells stood empty, their iron bars rusted, and eerie echoes of the past seemed to whisper through the narrow corridors. Rumors spoke of a ghostly inmate, known as the shadowed convict, who was said to haunt the prison's darkest corners. Our equipment was set up, and I decided to explore deeper into the prison, my footsteps echoing in the silence. Iron Gates was notorious for its tales of violence and despair, and it was believed that the shadowed convict was a wrongly accused man who met a tragic end. In one particularly chilling cell block, I opened a cell door and entered. As I did, a cold breeze brushed past me, and I heard a faint voice, a mournful whisper in the darkness. The temperature dropped, and the air felt heavy as the shadowed convict materialized before me. His figure was gaunt and ethereal, his eyes hollow and lifeless. He reached out, and his icy grip chilled my arm. The ghostly inmate spoke of his innocence, the torment he suffered behind these bars, and the injustice that had sealed his fate. The prison's grim history seemed to fuel his anger, and he blamed the living for his suffering. Panic welled up within me, and I tried to flee, but the shadowed convict's spectral form moved with me, a haunting presence that refused to let go. He sought to make us pay for the agony he endured, and I was the unfortunate messenger of his vengeful message. Amid the terror of the encounter, I realized that the key to escaping the clutches of the sinister prison and its ghostly inmate was to find a way to acknowledge the shadowed convict's innocence and bring peace to his restless spirit. The haunting of Iron Gates prison serves as a chilling reminder that the echoes of injustice can endure beyond death, and those who dare to confront them may find themselves ensnared by the haunting spirits of the past.